for the geniuses. It is said that I am heard. Now, this being that my thoughts are heard. It is still unclear whether thoughts and vocals are heard directly, or reported to and by what is not a source determined to be myself alone. That would mean that there are others who are able to be heard through, to speak through, or to report by their own interpretations. Over the years, I have challenged what I had heard directly with the speakers, invalidating any argument they had, to myself agreeing or agreement being enforced on me to conduct by in this operation of mind being heard. Apart from what I myself determined was valuable and should be shared, which included the knowing and understanding of ongoings by the threat that it provided to myself and others who may find themselves in a similar precarious position. For all that has been shared in information, how is this evaluated, and how is it still that person, myself especially, and others have not been identified? Or what has been by the incorporation in this operation has not been addressed for all to know and to know well? Sure enough, there are more reasons that validate the existence than justify it at all. For the time it has taken, it is clear and easy enough to put it into simple terms and steps of how everything, let alone some things, could be done better, especially and specifically for myself and foremost, being determined to be my person affected solely as focal, but not solely in isolation, apart from being isolated from the numbers that appear to agree to the precepts or a shared perception in activity. By ignoring the persons affected, especially by identity, it also subsides the fact that there are other rights that have been infringed upon by an assumed privilege of others by their own declarations made against, which have been made to be as if they are standing and binding, which they are technically not, by the non-disclosure in fairness and transparency, and the undermining of contentions with capacity. Besides an insult to many, it also puts into disrepute many fields, organizations, and subjects that would matter in this matter, providing better context to be applied by than thoughts assumed and positions held by opinion or delusional belief structures. Sure enough, in my own capacity, I can explain how it was made, and not to say that it is a subject of creation that should be abided by, as though there is nothing that can be done as adversary, especially when it is not just a religious values that have been infringed upon, but what is moral and ethical codes that even atheists abide by. Besides not applying solely or only religious values in contesting against, there is also the infringement on psychologies and other faculties that come from an exchange more than hearing or being heard, but which is the misinformation that has been provided, or the abuse of misinformation, the abuse of information, and the non-consideration as a whole or a group of a shared sentiment opposed to individuals' contributions that are in assistance to what is upright and well-founded. It is by no lack of effort of myself applying the correct channels and means to seek assistance and advisory, where at this stage it is more than just a request for money or justice. It is the utter hatred and non-disregard of complete and disgraceful ignorance, without insult. No offense is intended by this post, but to surely show you well the man that should have been identified, and this that was in his surrounds, and how it is evident that more is to be expected of persons involved. Whether directly or indirectly, it should not be taken with a pinch of salt or lightly that this had developed from harassment. This had developed from non-contact and information provided and confirmed, where it was taken to be self-proven, and evidence and investigations and other necessary conducts would have to be applied solely by myself as an isolated person. It should not be taken into no account that there was an avoiding of the truth where others were swept in or allowed by a rationale that was shared by more than them, as if there was a group discussion or a group thinking, which in itself now is clear to see the means that this was applied to or through them by. And at this stage, I don't have very much more to say, apart from more is expected of all who are more than well in the awareness of enough when shared amongst each other.